today's webinar. It is truly a pleasure to have you join us for our second installment of our webinar series on open innovation and corporate venturing, entitled Implementing Open Innovation Strategies in the Caribbean, by the Caribbean for Caribbean businesses. We truly appreciate the time you've taken to join us here today. At Caribbean Export, my name is Jonathan Citron. I am the Innovation and Digital Business Officer here at Caribbean Export, and Caribbean Export today is more than happy to host this webinar. As I said earlier, it's part of our second installment of our webinar series on open innovation and corporate venturing. Here at Caribbean Export, we are especially excited about today's conversation. Open innovation is no longer just a buzzword. It is a necessary strategy for unlocking the kind of transformation we as Caribbean people envision for Caribbean firms. We truly believe that by fostering collaboration between corporates and startups, we can catalyze a more vibrant, competitive, and digitally connected and sound regional economy. Today's agenda brings regional voices and global perspectives to share practical insights and success stories with each and every one of the participants here today. Before we continue, I just want to extend a special thank you to the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator members, the Ministry of Economic Development of Curaçao, and our success story later today from ID Maps from Jamaica for being here today and supporting the efforts to build a stronger innovation ecosystem in the Caribbean through this second webinar. So, to those of you who are present, who represent, the interests of the regional private sector, so all of our attendees, all of our participants, we thank you again for taking the time to be part of this dialogue, and we look forward to the ideas and opportunities that will emerge from today's discussion. Before we proceed, I'd just like to mention just a few house rules. We do have a Q&A chat, so at any point in time, feel free to use that chat box, that Q&A chat box, and the team will respond as soon as they can. If there are some questions that take a bit more time, or we need some of our expert panelists to answer it, once they are not presenting, they'll take the time to answer all the questions, or as many questions as can be answered in today's session. So we kindly ask you to please use the Q&A chat box, and we will engage through that medium. So to kick off today's session, I would just like to spend briefly just about 2 or 3 minutes just to talk to you about our EU-LAC Digital Accelerator Program, the basis behind having this webinar series in the first place. So the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator is an initiative financed under the The EU-LAC Digital Accelerator is an initiative under the EU-LAC Digital Alliance. It is itself a part of the Global Gateway Strategy of the European Union to strengthen cooperation on digital innovation areas. Its goal is to bridge European, Latin American, and Caribbean firms via digital innovation, open innovation, corporate venturing by promoting startup corporate partnerships, fostering digital transformation, competitiveness, open innovation, and facilitating investments. The EU-LAC Digital Accelerator is run by a consortium of partners, and I'll just like to mention them briefly, because without them, this is not possible. So we have Octantis, IESE Business School, EBN, or the European Business Network, IBAN, European Business Angel Network, Expertise France, Tecnalia Colombia, Waira Hispan, and Caribbean Export. So I want to give special mention to all our consortium partners who make our webinars like these possible today. So what does the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator offer? Well, the accelerator supports corporate startups, so startup SME partnerships, through a range of services and the use of our matching platform. Throughout the course of today's session, you will see links to our matching platform, so you can feel free to click on this link and have a look at the platform itself as we continue today's session. So as I said, the matching platform is where large corporations can pose their digital challenges for startups and SMEs to propose solutions, thus fostering this EU-LAC partnership. The Digital Accelerator, as the name suggests, provides acceleration services to selected EU-LAC partnerships, which might include road mapping, proof of concept, business case development, investment and scaling readiness services, and financial support. In terms of eligibility and requirements, once a challenge is posted by a corporate, an SME or a digital solution provider needs to come from one of the other two regions. So for example, if a corporate from Europe posts a challenge, then a Caribbean or Latin American SME can propose a solution to form a partnership. Vice versa, if a Latin American corporate posts a challenge, European SMEs and Caribbean SMEs can propose solutions, all within the remit of fostering collaboration in the sphere of open innovation. The EU-LAC Digital Accelerator has various calls, and we've had several calls to date. The calls that we've had to date would include smart production, clean tech, health tech, and e-services, among others. In terms of the benefits of the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator, or what participants gain, it really opens up a space for collaboration and access to resources and expertise across the three regions, including the European Union, Latin America, and the Caribbean. It gives a sense of international exposure, especially across cross-regional connections between the three mentioned areas. It gives an opportunity to move from concept or prototype to investment-ready status, and it supports the navigating of regulatory, cultural, market entry challenges in regions different from those at home. So today's session, we would like to focus on the implementation of open innovation strategies and how we can form partnerships to take advantage of the opportunities under the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, which would be Mr. Miguel Rodriguez, who is an open innovation consultant at Octantis, one of our consortium partners. Miguel works at Octantis as the open innovation consultant and is part of the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator team. During the last 16 years, he has worked with companies and entrepreneurs to develop new businesses and has also led startup incubation and acceleration programs. Over the years, he has gained a deep expertise in how corporates can innovate with startups, implement emerging technologies, and optimize operations to find new revenue streams. Miguel, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. It's my pleasure being with all of you today. Let me share my screen. So just a minute. I think it's working now. Okay, so okay, let's start to make the most of the time I have. Some words, I mean, about open innovation. I mean, there are three key messages I would like to deliver today. First is just to share some words on why open innovation should matter. I mean, to companies from all sizes, all industries. Second, what is the role of startups technological SMEs. I mean, why involving them into our innovation processes makes sense, and what could we expect for these partnerships. And finally, for all Caribbean companies looking to start any open innovation process, we will share some quick wins in order to do it together with EU-LAC Digital Accelerator. So let's start from the beginning. I mean, why we consider that open innovation is relevant today. So mainly for two main reasons. The first one is speed. I mean, currently, and we all are aware that technological disruption is becoming so fast. I mean, if we think in the past, back in the Industrial Revolution, it took almost 1 century for everyone, I mean, to get adapted to this new reality. Currently, if we take the example of artificial intelligence, in less than 2 years, all businesses are taking investments, initiatives, and are incorporating artificial intelligence into the process. So right now, once we have a new technology in place into the market, I mean, the time to reaction everyone has in order to implement these technologies and to remain competitive has decreased a lot. No, in the past we had 1 century in order to get on track on this new reality. Right now we have only 2 years in order to get on track very fast. So first reason on why open innovation is so relevant nowadays. First reality is that speed. I mean, there are so many technologies or technological adoption is quite fast. And the second reality we are facing is that the landscape of new technologies that we have is becoming more and more complex. I mean, we have several disruptions happening at the same time. I mean, from artificial intelligence to quantum computing to novel energies, space technologies, biology, robotics. I mean, there are too many as mentioned, disruptions to many technologies that are approaching at the same time. So the landscape is so complex, and the speed we need to in order to leverage those technologies are so fast. Considering that this is, I mean, this is our reality. The truth is that it is also opening new growth opportunities for companies. If we take a look of well-known companies as Amazon, Microsoft, Philips, Schneider, Adobe, I mean, very large multinationals, in the last decades, what they've been doing is building or trying to find new business opportunities, new business areas in order to grow their business. Just for example, Amazon, who started selling books online, now is one of the leading providers of web services, and this is something that it was not in the past. Microsoft, thanks to digital technologies, they have moved all their businesses into the cloud, and once again now is the one of the leading providers of enterprise software into the cloud. Philips with healthcare, Schneider with IoT solutions, and Adobe with new digital software. They all have done the same. That's just to say that with all these new technologies, with all these new waves of changes of technologies, it is opening the opportunity for companies not to wait until their business decline, but just identifying new growth opportunities. And this is something that the large multinationals are already aware and have been doing for the last decades. I mean, taking advantage of this landscape in which they operate in order to find quickly new business opportunities, so they don't disappear. So at the very end, and if we go to the point about what open in innovation is just about assuming that we need to incorporate external technologies, external talent in order to advance in the technologies we have within our companies. This is mainly it. I mean, in the past, normally companies relied only on their internal capabilities. This is something that currently is not enough. So companies are more and more looking for external talents, for external providers, for external partners in order to advance in their technology. And this is what open innovation is about partnering with external companies in order to bring assets, in order to bring new value propositions that we don't have. Obviously, it requires a complete landscape or a complete ecosystem of stakeholders for open innovations to work, from universities, technology centers, investors, startups, and so on, and a totally new mindset. I mean, in order to make it work, from testing in a very agile way new technologies, new use cases, sharing knowledge, sharing IP, sharing risk. I mean, it requires both new stakeholders coming into place, but also a new mindset in order for different companies to start working together and to collaborate into an effective way. And so that's about open innovation and why we feel and why we consider this is so relevant for Caribbean companies and for companies all over the world. I mean, competing on our own is not enough nowadays, so we need to integrate some other partners in our activities if we want to stay relevant. What is the specific role of startups and tech SMEs? Let's move on to this. I mean, more and more we are seeing in the Caribbean, in Latin America, in Europe, and all over the world that large companies and medium-sized companies they are more and more interested about working, about collaborating with startups and innovating with them. According to some research, about 80%, 82% of large multinationals, they are already doing that and have been doing that for the last 10, 15 years. And medium and smaller size companies are starting to do it. So there is a great interest from corporates to work with startups. And in our view, this is due to three main reasons, or the value that startups can provide to corporates are mainly three issues. First is bringing into the table specialized teams in emerging technologies. Startups normally are companies who are testing, who are working with very emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, virtual reality, Internet of Things, robotics, and so on. So technologies that are not yet into mass market and are not yet implemented in within the market. So this is the main reason that corporates are looking for in startups very specialized teams and in certain technologies. Secondly, as they are relatively small teams, they are very agile in order to validate or to dismiss is if those solutions could work for the company. I mean, not every solution works for all the industries and for all the companies there. So startups are also a quick way in order to test if those technologies could be integrated or not within a company. And lastly, I mean, those companies are generally driven by business and revenue generation. So once you want to bring innovation into the market, normally startups are a really good stakeholder in order to do so. Uh, from the early 2000s, we are seeing more and more startups who are becoming leaders into new industries. Here we can take a look at some success cases we have from Europe and the States. Companies who have been funded in the last, I mean, 5, 10, 12 years, so very, very recent companies that in a very short term have been able to build new industries or entire businesses. And there are two main factors in order to do so. First is the funding that those companies are able to get. I mean, if we get at those cases, I mean, they are heavily supported by private investors who are looking at the opportunities that their technologies can bring in order to make money, to make business, and to open new industries. So this is the one of the main factors of growth of these companies, funding, and then the number of employees. I mean, as I was mentioning before, I mean, startups are able to build very specialized teams in a very short times, who are able to compete with large multinationals in a very short term. So this is an example of a few companies in artificial intelligence, aerospace, energy, electric vehicles, and so on, who are already partnering with very large multinationals as Stellantis, HP, Airbus, Mitsubishi, Adobe, Volkswagen. I mean, very well-known companies, and together they are building new businesses, or finding new market, new business lines, which already do not exist. But this is not only a business of large multinationals, of large companies. The landscape of startups is booming worldwide, and there is a big industry of investors who are supporting these companies. If we go to the essence, mainly a corporate, what is looking into a startup is into the potential to save the company at least 1 million a year in cost, or to generate the same amount in revenue. I mean, this is mainly it. This is what these kind of companies can provide to corporations, is the capabilities to save cost, or to generate new revenue. I mean, as simple as that, and this is the main goal, and this is the main objective that these kind of collaborations are made about. And this is the goal, and this is what they are searching for. I mean, saving money, generating new revenue. It could be 1 million, it could be 10,000 dollars, or whatever makes sense to the company. That being said, I mean, even though there is a great potential, there is a great interest in order to collaborate together between established companies and technological startups. Reality is that most of the relationship fail. I mean, there are some statistics about that says that about 70% of these initiatives fail to deliver expected results, or fail to scale. And this is something that we need to address, or that we need to be aware about. In order to avoid that, in order to improve this ratio, something that is becoming more and more relevant is to start this kind of new partnerships with it's called a POC, a proof of concept. It means let's start building a new partnership from the very beginning and doing initial test in order to prove if this technology could work within my company or not. I mean, starting small in order to test some assumptions and start doing or building some steps together. So what's the benefit there are four main benefits of starting this kind of collaborations with a proof of concept. The first one is instead of trying something very big from the beginning, is trying to open doors within the company in order to prove that the assumptions that we have are right, or maybe we need to modify some of them. Secondly, we need to prove that there is a business case in order to establish a partnership. So running a small test, small trials helps to do that. I mean, a proof of concept helps to scale and to prove that there is a real business case. Then it helps to have some indicators on how this technology should be integrated into a corporate process. So we need to have some indicators in order to say, okay, this is something that we have test in a control environment. This is the potential that could have if we integrate that into a corporate process. And then also it helps to in order to connect and to start working together with innovation units, with business units from corporates in order to start building a relationship together. And how we are trying to do it within EU-LAC Digital Accelerator. I mean, how we are trying to make it real. I mean, not only, as mentioned, for large multinationals, but for medium, for small size companies in the Caribbean and in other regions across Latin America and Europe. So what we have set up is a process that helps first to match partners. I mean, to identify partnerships opportunities, and we have some activities that we are taking in place in order to for corporates and to startups to identify or to find their partners. And once this is done, we have another process in order to build these partnerships, to run some experiments, to run some trials and test if those assumptions could be proven right. So we have set up an accelerator, we have set up a pathway, a process that enables companies who are interested into open innovation to start relatively quick and with less risk and as investing money in other process. We have been running the accelerator for the last 2 years and a half. Currently, we have been able to identify almost 49 partnership opportunities, and we are already in the process of accelerating 37 of them. I mean, goal is that by the end of 2027, we will be able to identify 100 partnership opportunities and to accelerate 100 partnerships. So those are the results to date. In the Caribbean, we are starting working with four partners, with four partnerships opportunities, and our goal is once again to reach as many Caribbean companies as possible in order to join our accelerators. There are two ways we are offering or we have in order to join our accelerator. First of all is for corporates, Caribbean firms who wants to identify or who wants to engage with startups from Latin America, from Europe, in order to try what kind of partners they can find overseas. We have a platform in which companies can share their challenge. I mean, a corporate challenge, an innovation challenge that they have, and they can share it with our community in order to find new partners or in order to find new solvers. So this is the first way we have, or the first call to action that we have for Caribbean companies who already have well-established business in the region, and they want to find, or they have some innovation challenge, some processes that could be digitalized. I mean, our request there is go to our matching platform in our website, check the challenge that we already have there. There are more than 100 companies who already have shared their opportunities with us, and post a challenge with our community. This is an example of challenge that we have. First of all, I mean, we need to identify very well what is the impact that we expect in order, or what is the issue that we are looking to address. Normally, it's a matter of saving cost or trying to generate new revenue. Then we need to really specify, I mean, what is the context, or what is the background, or what are we trying to achieve. And then obviously proposing, stating what is the proposal that we have for partners. Are we providing access to infrastructure that we have, and we are providing access to our experts, to data, funding, and so on. So this is something that we need to be very clear when posting a challenge. So this is the first step. I mean, matching, identifying opportunities, and getting access to our marketplace. Once we have identified a partner, once we are clear on what we want to test, what we want to deploy, what we offer is an acceleration platform in order to run those experiments together with EU-LAC Digital Accelerator. There are four requirements in order to get our support. First is to address a digital transformation challenge. I mean, this is a digital accelerator. Then is to involve within the partnership at least one corporate and one startup. Then is to include partners from different regions. I mean, we are trying to engage companies from the European Union, Latin America, and the Caribbean. So we need to mix regions within the partnerships, and then have signed already a partnership agreement, or the conditions in which these technologies are going to be tested. There are three kind of partnerships that we are supporting within our accelerator. There are some partnerships that are looking to build something together. This is the what we call the makers partnerships. I mean, two companies who want to build a new technology, a new solution together. There are some others who want to integrate one technology into the other's platform, or want to increase the functionalities that their platforms already have. This is what we call the plugin platform. So two technologies working together in order to improve performance. And then there are some other partners who are looking to expand their commercial network. This is what we call the gateway partnerships. So companies who have already tested their solutions, their technologies into one region, and that they are looking to go into some other regions. So this is more or less the profiles of partnerships that we are able to support within our accelerator. And for Caribbean companies, and for everyone who is joining our platform, what we are offering is in-kind services. This is funded by us. This is not required to be paid by companies. This is funded by the European Commission, and by the accelerator. And we offer services valued in almost 40,000 euros, and we offer grants for the startups up to 10,000 euros in order to deploy a proof of concept, a test, and validate that the technology could work. The way of working that we have is that we define a roadmap with the partner, with the partnership, and we define which are the milestones that need to be achieved, and which is the test, which is the proof of concept that needs to be delivered, that needs to be deployed. And then we are providing services or support in three areas. First, in helping to define and to evaluate the proof of concept. Then on building the business case, really understanding what is the value that this could bring for both parties, and then getting access to investment and scaling in order to roll out operations. We follow up the quality in order to ensure that those services match the needs that you have, and we also provide visibility, marketing in order to increase the reach that you have. As mentioned, there are already 37 partnerships that we are supporting. Tech Balance is one of them, one startup from Brazil. We are supporting them in order to get their products certified in Europe and to roll out commercial operations. Tech Balance is one startup from Spain. They are integrating their solution into the platform of one corporate in Colombia, and they are rolling out sales operations there in order to expand the market. So those are two examples. And as we say, I mean, at the end, what we are trying to do, what EU-LAC Digital Accelerator is trying to do, is about making companies that are already well established into the market joining or partnering with new companies who are trying to provide new solutions. And the challenge there is to make those companies, as it says, elephants and gazelles dancing together without stepping on each other. No, this is what we are trying to do within a EU-LAC digital accelerator. At the end, is a platform, is an access in order to start working or deploying an open innovation strategy in an easy way and without taking so much risk. So that's it from my side, Jonathan.
All right, thanks, Miguel, for your insights, for your detailed insights and explanations. Um, I think it was very, very insightful. Particularly for me, there's one slide that stood out where you mentioned the value of startups and tech SMEs and what they provide, particularly their specialized skill set and their validation of innovation. I think it provides so much benefits to corporates as well. So thank you for that. Next is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who brings with her over 3 decades of experience in trade, investment, and economic development across the Caribbean. Currently, she serves as the director of the Foreign Economic Cooperation Division of the Ministry of Economic Development of Curaçao, where she plays a leading role in advancing Curaçao's international trade relations and foreign economic partnerships. Miss Vanessa Torre. She will share with us just a bit about the open innovation environment in Curaçao and some of the open innovation opportunities that exist in Curaçao. So Vanessa, over to you.
Thank you very much for this invitation and for letting me give you an overview of what Curaçao is doing in the area of open innovation. And we are very much very happy that our startups and our corporates can also join the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator program. I'm going to share my presentation. I don't know if you're seeing it. I think you're still seeing let me just change it. And one more click. All right. So As I said, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here this morning and present to you. I see a lot of participants also from Curacao wanting to hear more about the Digital Accelerator program. As an island, we have always lived through connection and connection to the region, connection to Europe, and also to the wider world. And in today's world, connection is the foundation of innovation. Open innovation is not only about technology, it's also about how we collaborate, how governments, businesses, universities, and citizens co-create solutions that no one could develop alone. So in Curacao, we see open innovation not as a trend, but as a mindset for national transformation. So it was already explained, but I also dig a little bit into literature and saw that since 2003 and later in 2011, some professors in universities worldwide did talk about open innovation, presented and studied the concept. And one of them, which is one in the Netherlands, Ilke Huizing of the University of Groningen in 2011, already mentioned that open innovation is on its way to become innovation itself. And I have to say that open innovation has become innovation, and now it's also becoming more a mindset, a way of life, a way of work. So traditionally, organizations innovated behind closed doors. And nowadays, we see that developing everything is becoming open. Open innovation recognizes that valuable ideas can come from anywhere. And it's a deliberate use of knowledge, inflows and outflows to accelerate innovation and create mutual benefits. And while digital technologies often make this possible, open innovation is not confined to IT alone. It is a universal model that can be applied in energy, in tourism, in blue economy, culture, governance, and social inclusion, to name a few. In Curacao, this is how we think about innovation, not as a single sector, but as a way of working across all sectors. The EU-LAC Digital Accelerator embodies this philosophy. In itself, this is an open innovation ecosystem, a space where new partnerships are born and where the Caribbean can access global networks, funding, and knowledge. For Curacao, this accelerator connects perfectly with our own national goals for digital transformation and economic diversification. Curaçao's approach to open innovation is guided by our national export strategy, developed by our Ministry of Economic Development. The NES, which is the abbreviation of the National Export Strategy, identifies 7 key sectors from IT and digital services to blue bioeconomy and creative industries. Renewable energy is another driving force behind our economic diversification process. Each one of them depends on collaboration, creativity, and connectivity, the essence of open innovation. For us, open innovation is both an economic and diplomatic strategy, linking local entrepreneurs to global opportunities. Institutions like the Curaçao Innovation and Technology Institute and BlueNep Americas provide the ecosystem's backbone, skills, incubation, and digital infrastructure. We are not starting from scratch, I must say. Even before we formalized our vision, Curaçao was already experimenting with openness. Our size allows us to move fast. Our diversity allows us to test new ideas. In other words, Curaçao is a living laboratory, a test haven for startups, as has been described. This small-scale, open, forgiving environment makes Curaçao ideal for co-creation, piloting, and scaling innovations that can later be exported to the wider region. And I'm now going to share some examples with you. And there are many, many more that could be shared, but I'm just picking up a few, and we can always continue and let people that are here share in the chat other examples that we can give in Curaçao. I listed here a number of examples that we have, but I will go through them very, very quickly. And this particular one is a very recent one, the Curaçao Express Pass. This is an example of GovTech collaboration. The Curacao Express Pass is one of our flagship examples. It's a biometric, mobile-based border crossing system that allows travelers to pre-clear their credentials and move seamlessly through immigration. This project was co-created through a public-private partnership involving the Ministry of Justice and Immigration, Curacao Airport Holding, and also a technology firms Entrust and Visionbox, with active participation from travelers and citizens during the testing. The result: improved security, faster processing, and new global reputation for Curacao as a digital border pioneer. Another example is, I think I skipped one, is Illustre, which is an innovation lab for utilities and sustainable technology. The Illustre Lab, created by Lanubia Consulting in collaboration with Jeroenimos Academy of Data Science in the Netherlands, brings an open innovation to the energy and water sectors. Illustre applies artificial intelligence and data science to optimize water desalination, predict energy demand, and support the energy transition. It unites our Ministry of Economic Development, Aqualectra, universities, and private experts in an open environment where ideas can be tested and refined. As Illustre mentioned on their website, based on the lovely island of Curacao, Illustre shows how AI and open collaboration can advance SDG 6 and 7, clean water and affordable energy. Another example is community-driven regenerative innovation. Colectivo brings open innovation to the social and environmental space. It's a blockchain-based community platform where citizens, NGOs, and entrepreneurs co-finance and co-govern local impact projects through community tokens. It combines technology with social participation, proof that innovation can be both digital and deeply human. Colectivo also connects with Curaçao's energy telecom DeFi strategy, demonstrating how financial decentralization can empower inclusion and sustainability. We also have enabling policies and instruments that we can share. For example, we have our startup launchpads, and that is the Curaçao Innovation and Technology Institute's open innovation engine. The startup launchpad, managed by CT, which is the abbreviation of this organization, helps early stage entrepreneurs access mentorship, business vouchers, and investor networks. It's a national incubator of open innovation, linking startups, corporates, and academia. Many Launchpad alumni now export digital services and solutions, reflecting Curaçao's growing reputation as a source of technology talent. Also, we have the Innovation Hunt and the Innovation Award. To nurture a culture of co-creation, CT organizes the Innovation Hunt, a national idea challenge inviting citizens, students, and entrepreneurs to solve real economic or social issues. Winning ideas are celebrated through the Curaçao Innovation Award, recognizing collaboration between sectors and rewarding solutions that can scale regionally. Together, they demonstrate or democratize innovation, turning citizens into co-designers of the island's future. The Innovation Box is a fiscal incentives for R&D. Curaçao's Innovation Box is a modern tax regime rewarding companies that develop or license intellectual property, software, or patented technology locally. By reducing taxes on qualifying income, it incentivizes private R&D and makes Curaçao attractive for innovators seeking to commercialize new ideas. It's a fiscal instrument that turns open collaboration into measurable economic growth. Another interesting aspect is our Digital Hub Americas and our BlueNap Americas. BlueNap Americas is a digital backbone, a world-class data center enabling cloud computing, storage, and connectivity with full data sovereignty, invisible infrastructure supporting our open innovation ecosystem. While Digital Hub America is a multi-stakeholder platform uniting the regulatory authority of Curaçao, we are also uniting with BlueNap, Curaçao Investment and Export Promotion Agency, CINEX, the Chamber of Commerce, Curacao Innovation Technology Institute, and also the private sector itself, being CIMIA, which are the software exporters, and also the FinTech Association of Curacao. All the participants build together or working together in collaboration. DHA coordinates digital economy initiatives, fosters partnerships, and positions Curacao as the digital gateway of the Americas. I also want to mention CIMIA, which is the Software Industry Making Impact Abroad Association, which are the Tech Export Associations, which is the Tech Export Association representing Curacao softwares and IT firms. 2021 study showcased that 54% of our industry revenue comes from exports, generating nearly 48 million US dollars and employing over 300 professionals. CIMIA drives policy advocacy, IP awareness, and links innovators to international markets. And last but not least, the FinTech Association, the Curacao FinTech Associations bring together innovators in banking, blockchain, and payments, working with regulators to ensure compliance and also growth. It is central to new FinTech sandboxes and decentralized finance pilots that connect Curaçao's financial ecosystem to global standards. These initiatives operate within the broader energy telecom decentralized finance position paper that we just developed, and which defines digital infrastructure and renewable energy as pillars of diversification. It promotes public-private partnerships, data governance, and blockchain regulation, creating precisely the enabling environment that open innovation requires. Projects like Illustre, Collectivo, and the Innovation Box translate this policy into practice. Although still in development, Curaçao is exploring the concept of strategic decentralized finance as a national enabler. The idea is to harness blockchain-based financial innovation in a responsible, policy-driven way, not as a speculative tool, but as an instrument for inclusion, transparency, and cross-border trade. Through early initiatives like Collaborativo Community Token Model and FinTech Association Curaçao, the groundwork is being laid for a supervised digital finance ecosystem that can support public-private partnerships, digital identity, and sustainable financing in the future. The Innovation Sandbox, a safe space for financial experimentation, the Central Bank of Curaçao and Sint Maarten has introduced this innovation framework, allowing fintechs and financial institutions to test new technologies under regulatory supervision. This initiative strengthens Curaçao's open innovation environment by providing a controlled space for experimentation in areas such as blockchain payments, digital identity, and tokenized assets. It ensures that innovation in finance can advance responsibly, encouraging creativity while safeguarding stability and trust. AI amplifies open innovation. In Illustre, for example, we saw it forecast utility demand. In ExpressPass, it enhances security and traveler analytics across sectors. It supports prediction, personalization, and also policy design. AI is how open innovation learns and how small nations scale their creativity globally. Of course, we have challenges. We must continue to build capital or digital and innovation skills, strengthen coordination among ecosystem partners, mobilize blended finance, and formalize an open innovation framework with sandboxes, innovation procurement, and open data policies. But our smallness is an asset. It gives us agility, collaboration, and trust. Finally, we see that Curaçao has the ingredients of a living laboratory: skilled, multilingual people, advanced connectivity, strong institutions, and a creative culture. From ExpressPass and Illustre to Collectivo, Innovation Hunt, Innovation Box, and Digital Hub Americas, we see how openness drives transformation. Through the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator, our innovators are now connected to global partners. Our ambition is clear: to make Curaçao not just an island of innovation, but a connector of innovation, where global ideas are tested, localized, and scaled. Let's make the Caribbean a living lab of open innovation by the Caribbean and for the Caribbean. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vanessa, for your insights and sharing with us the open innovation landscape that exists in Curacao. So we really, really appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. Um, as we move forward, we have one final presenter. It is uh, it is very, very exciting to introduce this next presenter because I think this next presenter will give some insights practically on how programs such as the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator works in conjunction to bring out open innovation in the Caribbean. So I'm excited to introduce Ms. Camille Cole, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Innovative Data Mining and Advanced Analytic Partners, or for short, ID Maps, with over um, with over a decade of experience working for companies such as the Digital Group, where she holds various portfolios such as project manager, data analyst consultant, product manager, systems analyst, and with a background in business analytics from the University of Miami and an MSc in computer-based management information systems at the University of the West Indies. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce Ms. Camille Cole, who will today give us some insights on her experience as a Caribbean firm with open innovation, some key achievements, some lessons learned, and some advice to fellow Caribbean firms and startups in engaging with open innovation under the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator. I must also add that Camille, her firm was part of the first successful EU-LAC digital partnership coming from the Caribbean. So I know she will have a lot to say about that and her experience with that. So Camille, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone. Very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity for sharing our experience as being the first Caribbean country in the EU-LAC Digital Accelerator Program and embracing open innovation. So as Jonathan alluded to, I spent a lot of years in corporate working for a telecommunications company that had various businesses across the Caribbean. We had opportunity to work with persons across different nationalities. I think we had at one point 98 nationalities there. So with that interaction and experience was what we used that to actually begin our startup and ensure that when we produce solutions that they have that global impact. Because as Miguel alluded to in his presentation, disruption is the name of the game, and we have to ensure that the Caribbean can keep pace with that kind of disruption. All right, so we are a data analytics company. We were founded in 2018. We provide end-to-end data solutions that help our customers increase revenue, improve their operations, as well as make smarter decisions. We're very passionate about that. When we started, we found out a lot of our clients were in the financial services industry, and they were going through that digital transformation process as well. We had seen that in telecom, so we understood the impact of that. So they were trying to, and they were actually digitizing their business processes, and more of their transactions were being done online. And the effects of that is that you're creating more data, lots of opportunities in that, because you're actually allowing your customers to be more flexible in terms of doing their financial transactions. But with that came a lot of risk, and we realized that we needed to help our customers prepare for those risks and react to those risks in real time. So we decided to build a real-time AI machine learning fraud detection tool. As part of this tool, we wanted, again, to ensure that it met global standards. We didn't want to just be confined to the Caribbean, because this is an issue that affects, regions, the EU, the Americas, Latin America. So we wanted to ensure that this product or the solution was at global standards from the jump. And that's why we use our network to find a partner across the Atlantic. We chose Europe because they They are at the cutting edge of AI technology, and they are also they're heavily regulated, right? So they are the first person having a EU AI Act, and we're using data, we're using machine learning. So we want to ensure that we did that within a structured regulatory framework. That's very important for us. Data governance is essential to ensure that we have a quality product and it's within the purview of AI governance and machine learning, because data is powerful, and we want to ensure that we're compliant to those regulations. So we found a partner, an Italian company called Engage SPA. Engage SPA was started by ex-bankers. So they understood as well, those ex-bankers understood the power of data management. So they started a company that specialized in AI, cybersecurity, data management, regulatory compliance. So it's a perfect fit for us. So we approached them. We pitched our idea of building this fraud detection solution that, was not only could be used in the Caribbean, but was global. And they were very receptive to that idea. And so that started our partnership. Within the course of that partnership, the EU Digital Accelerator became an enabler for us. All right, so we applied to them. We told them, we're making this solution, which is it's going to solve a global problem, and we're partnering with a European company, and they readily accepted us. They were able to provide assistance to us in terms of IP, understanding IP protection, understanding how to commercialize, ensuring that our partnership agreement is robust. They were also able to help us with market analysis, which is very helpful. They were able to help us understand the regulatory environment across the Caribbean, as well as Europe and the Americas as well. So we got that assistance from the EU-LAC Accelerator Program. They're also via Caribbean Export, which I thought was very welcome. They were able to partner with the Development Bank of Jamaica that enable us to even access greater grant funding. I think we have up to 50,000 US in grant funding to do our pilot program. So that our experience with the accelerator has been very beneficial. It has helped us to accelerate our innovation partnership. So we're very thankful to them. It's a great program. They have a suite of services. The Miguel's team, Caribbean Export, EBM, Technalia, also helping us to ensure that our proof of concept is aligned with first world standards, right? So everything we're doing is aligned with global standards, and they help to actually validate our proposal and our solutions. So we're very grateful to them for that assistance. It has been invaluable. And they keep us we're honest in terms of what we're trying to do. If we have issues, concerns, they're very much available to help us with resolving those issues and concerns. So thank you so much, EU Accelerator, for being part of our innovation roadmap. Lessons learned, our key achievements has been having that partnership agreement. We're in the process now of the pilot, as Miguel alluded to. The pilot helps us to validate whether or not our solution actually works, and help us to actually do it with real-world data. So we're in the process of doing that. The results have been fairly good at this point in time. We have interested banks that we're working with to ensure that we create a robust solution, so in the Caribbean as well as Europe. So we're on track to do that. Also, we are able to cement the partnership agreement and ensure that it works for both companies. I think that part is extremely important as well. Our key lessons learned from this, there are many. I actually had to write a couple down to ensure that I have given you a thorough understanding of what it takes to start open innovation. First thing, open innovation is survival. We as Caribbean countries, we're limited by our size, we're limited by resources. And so it's very much important for us to ensure that we partner with other persons who have resources, who have the expertise to help us to scale, right? So although we don't have resources, what we do have is the creativity, ingenuity, and the talent in the Caribbean. We're full of talent, especially tech and IT talent. So, partnering with other companies or, other regions help us to enhance that talent and show the world what we're capable of. So I'm a proponent and advocate of open innovation. Partnerships. So relationship management is another lesson learned. Again, very thankful to the EU-LAC Accelerator Program that helped us with that as well. Open communication, ensuring there's cultural alignment, ensuring that both parties know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, what does success looks like at each stage of our process. So we've been able to write that down, revise it, have a look at it, and ensure that we're meeting our objectives and our KPIs with that. Also, the third lesson learned is Caribbean scalability, right? So data access is something that has been an issue for us in terms of doing our POC. A lot of the data we have is fragmented, but we're getting there, right? So as companies digitize, we're able to help them with the data management, the data integration, and ensuring that we can actually put those AI and machine learning solutions on top of that data framework. Regulations as well, they're different across regions, across countries. So we've had to navigate the regulatory part of the dealing with financial institutions. And so again, I'm going to show it to the Accelerator Program. They've helped us to do that, right? They've done the research. So when we're going in, we're prepared in terms of what regulations obtain across jurisdictions. Digital infrastructure as well is another area that we have challenges in. Again, Caribbean, we're in the nascent stages of our digital transformation process. So our technology has to grow and improve for us to take advantage of all the opportunities AI, machine learning, and technology in general has to offer for us. So those are things we've had to overcome with a lot of creativity, a lot of help from the Accelerator Program, and we're still working on a number of those. Our message to Caribbean firms. So as Vanessa said, we can't afford to go it alone. We have to embrace partnerships in the Caribbean as well, partnerships across our borders, right? We need that to scale. If we're not looking at those partnerships and ensuring that we are, getting that expertise outside of our companies, whether it's a corporate or a startup, then we may be left behind in this age of disruption. Piloting use of the accelerators, again, and Caribbean Export for support is another message I'd like to leave. Like I said, the Accelerator Program has been a lifesaver for us in terms of accessing financing and just ensuring that we are continuing on our path. The goals that we have set, we've kept those deadlines, and they've helped us with that technical expertise, the market analysis, the IP protection, right? So they've been instrumental in helping our partnership move forward. And also another message I'd like to leave is that we should focus on uniquely Caribbean challenges, because the issues that we have here, if we find those solutions, can be used to solve other problems in other regions. So that's something that we need to look at as Caribbean firms, looking at what our challenges are and coming up with those solutions, right? So we don't have to look externally for those issues, look internally, define the solutions for them, and partner with outside corporations or startups to help solve those solutions. So in closing, our big achievement has been signing a partnership, doing our pilot program, working with the EU Accelerator program. And again, this is just the beginning. We expect to scale the solution, and you should be hearing much more from us in terms of our fraud detection solution. We're piloting now, we're finding solutions, and we should be ready to scale very, very soon. And I just want to thanks again, the Caribbean Export, for allowing me to be able to give an update on our progress as it relates to open innovation. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Camille, for sharing your insights and experiences with open innovation being a Caribbean firm. I would like to highlight one thing that you said, and it was that, you highlighted the importance of forming partnerships, saying that Caribbean firms, we can't do it alone, and there's no need for us to do it alone. Collaboration, I guess, would be the best way to put it. Collaboration makes things a bit easier. So I thank you for sending that message to all our participants, and thank you for being here today and sharing your experiences with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of all of our presentations for today. I will just allow a few minutes if anyone has any last minute questions to just drop it in the Q&A box. I'm seeing most of it has been answered, so thank you to the team who has been answering the questions. Thank you a lot. Just to reiterate, all the presentations and a recording of today's session will be emailed to all participants in the coming days, so you can have full access of what was said today in this second installment of our Open Innovation and Corporate Venturing webinar. I would also guide you to the chat where you can take a look at our website. You will also see that our open call for partnerships have been opened, and the deadline is the 31st of October, so feel free to check that out. I would also encourage you all to engage our matching platform. This platform is where you would see the challenges, the open innovation challenges from corporates, and for any startup or digital solution provider from the Caribbean, we encourage you, highly encourage you to sign up on our platform, take a look at the challenges, and yes, we will be there with you to provide any sort of support that you would need to ensure that your proposal and your solution reaches the hands of those who are looking for it. So we encourage you to take a look at all of our websites, take a look at the open call, and take a look at the platform. From my end, I think most of the questions have been answered. You will also get the contact information for the relevant persons in that communication going forward. In closing, I would like to thank all the panelists. Miguel, as always, as part of the EU-LAC team, has always been there for us for our webinars. I want to thank him publicly for that, because we know, I know I will be calling on him going forward for webinars. I saw someone ask in the chat if we will have more webinars. Yes, this is the second installment. The intention is to have 6 webinars across 2 segments, one for open innovation and one for corporate venturing. So please look out for the 3rd installment, which would be the final installment of the open innovation segment of our webinar series. Vanessa, thank you for providing us the context of open innovation in Curacao. Very, very exciting. A lot of work seems to be taking place in Curacao. A lot of exciting things are taking place in Curacao. So we thank you for sharing that insight with us today. Camille, thank you for joining us. Being that practical example of open innovation by a Caribbean firm really embodies what we want to do and what we want to encourage. So thank you for taking the time to sending a message to our participants that, again, you don't have to do it alone. It's a collaborative effort. maybe open innovation isn't as mainstream as we would like in the Caribbean, but I believe this is webinars like this and having yourself, Miguel and Vanessa, here really kind of drives that forward to make it more mainstream, to give Caribbean firms an opportunity to grow, develop, and become competitive. So with that, I will formally end. I will formally end our session today. Again, all the information will be provided to all attendees in a subsequent email. I will also encourage, if you have any further questions, the contact details will be there in the chat, so you can reach out to us and ask us any further questions, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you to all the presenters and all the attendees and all the organizers. We truly appreciate the effort for each and every one of you being here today. I wish you well.